Hey everybody, this is David, and today I'm going to be talking about The Flash Season 4, Episode 15, Enter Flashtime. And this is not the first time we've entered Flashtime. This is actually maybe the second time. Let's get right into this episode. We start off with this little, how they've done it quite a bit in previous episodes, where they put us in a situation where it's actually going to be shown again later on. And then they flash back. Usually it's like a few hours later, sometimes 48 hours later, sometimes 24 hours later, sometimes maybe 3 days later. In this case, they go back 8 minutes later. And man, it's the longest 8 minutes that I've figured. Look, it wasn't that long, but it was around 8 minutes. But I noticed it was going a little bit over 8 minutes. Maybe I should time it one day to really see how long it took them to actually get there. But it felt like a little bit longer than 8 minutes. For me, I didn't know where this episode was going, and then once it gets to the part where this terrorist group is releasing this bomb or activating it, and then Barry and Jessie get stuck in this Flashtime. Flashtime we've seen in the courtroom when Barry was in court. He ran so fast that he was able to move without anybody even realizing it. It's like everyone else was frozen, but he could also grab people and get them to be in that circle with him. But from what we learned in this episode, which I thought was interesting, was that they can only be there for a limited time, because if you're not a speedster, you can't really be in that speed force area for too long, I guess. So that was interesting to note. And then we also learn when after Jessie goes and gets Jay returns in this episode, that apparently they're not immune to it either. That eventually, because they're speedsters, they can stay in there for a little bit longer in Flashtime, but eventually they will start to wear out too. What we start to learn as Jay starts to wear out first, and then obviously later on Jessie, and then finally it starts catching up to Barry until he finally figures out how to stop the bomb, which was going into the Speed Force, getting that lightning that I guess was blasting during the season 3 finale. That was like coming down from all over the place. Barry went into the Speed Force, grabbed this, I guess, magnetic ball that like allowed the Speed Force lightning to follow him, and then they threw it into the bomb, which deactivated it somehow. It's all science stuff. I'm not going to go into that stuff because I'm not good with science. And sometimes, science in TVs and movies is sometimes fake science. Like, hey guys, we're just wrapping this episode up, so just go with us here. That's sometimes how it is on television and film. So fine, we beat the bomb of the day. I actually did like all of it. I like the ticking time bomb kind of feel that we got in this episode, with in some ways a Die Hard scenario. When I say Die Hard, I mean like when you watch that original Die Hard movie, Bruce Willis is stuck in a building for the almost the entire movie. In this case, Barry, Jessie, and Jay are stuck in this flash time, trying to figure out how do we get out of here. I really did enjoy that aspect of the entire episode, and Barry really trying to figure out, how do I get out of this? How do I save everybody? And trying every possible way to figure out things. Like first he got Cisco and tried to get Cisco to, vibe the bomb out of there, and then he got Killer Frost into the game as well, and she couldn't do anything really. When she did, the bomb just started activating even more. And then Joe was the only one he didn't see, but I'm glad they saved Iris for last, because it was a really great emotional moment in the episode, I felt, and you can really feel the chemistry between Iris and Barry. I think the two actors just they kill it every time they're together on screen. They definitely are my favorite TV superhero couple, because as someone who watched Smallville a long time ago, I had to suffer through Lana and Clark drama throughout so many years. Lois was a little bit of an upgrade, but still, even that relationship once in a while got into that dramatic stuff. The Barry and Iris relationship has always been a joy, specifically when they actually became a couple, because I feel like there's no unnecessary drama in their relationship. They are a couple, and they're a couple that you're rooting for in situations like this, and that's what I love about the Flash. They got that right. They realize, hey, look, we don't need these characters to break up and get together all the time. We can have them always together and still have an entertaining show. And I love The Flash for that. So thank you to the writers and producers of The Flash for realizing that. That's one of the great things. That's one of the tropes that you got rid of finally with these superhero TV shows. They always think they have to find reasons to keep the characters separate. No, get them involved with each other and evolve the show that way. Evolve the shows as many ways as you can. Don't always keep it the same that other shows have already done and gave us a million episodes of. Do different things, and that's what I love about this relationship. And then, Jay back in this episode was really great, because I think John Wesley Shipp is great. He played the Flash back in the 90s TV series. So anytime to get him back is always fun. And I think he did a really stellar job in this episode. There were a lot of moments I'm like, I think he has a lot more fun playing this role than he did playing Henry Allen back in the earlier seasons. I don't know, that's just me. I think he's having a lot more fun playing a Flash again, a hero again. And then we got the Jessie Quick storyline. Well, before I get to that, I want to say the way they left off Jay kind of worries me, though, because he said he was training somebody else, a girl, which made me wonder, number one, who is he training? Is this someone that's important? I don't know too much about my comic book lore, especially when it comes to The Flash. So I don't know if Jay Garrick in the comics has a daughter or anything. So if anyone wants to chime in, go for it. I could always be educated on this stuff. Or maybe one of my thoughts that did go through my head when he said that was, is it that girl that we literally saw there at the bar at the end, at Jitters, I mean, talking to Caitlyn and Harry. So I wonder if it's her that he was referring to, or if it's going to be a new character completely. We're going to have to wait and see on that. I also hope that this isn't the last time we see Jay, because it sounded like he was kind of announcing his retirement, which I think he's too good of a character to leave retired. So I hope this isn't the end of Jay Garrick. I hope he does return a little bit more. I hope that was just a setup, so the next time we see him, we see the person that he's training. That's going to be interesting. And now we can get on to Jessie Quick. She had a storyline in this episode. She came back after a while, after Wally's on Legends, which, I heard that we're going to see Jessie on Legends too soon, so that's going to be nice. But she is having some differences with her father, because he doesn't really want to talk about Jessie's mother too much. And I'm surprised that, after all this time, father and daughter, they never once talked about her mother. That's interesting. But it did leave for something very emotional at the end, which I actually did like. I thought it was a nice bonding moment between them. So I think the payoff of that storyline was better than the overall execution. For the most part, yeah, at first I wasn't too sure about it, but then when I saw the payoff, it was pretty emotional, so I was like, okay, it was a fine storyline for this episode. It was a B plot, so it, didn't affect the overall storyline, but for a B storyline, I think it was nice and sweet, so I was fine with it. And then we find out that, Caitlyn tells Wells at the end there, in the Jitters Cafe before Barry's daughter, who I'm guessing that's who that is. Caitlyn says that she could never remember anything that happens whenever Killer Frost takes over, but ever since Barry brought Killer Frost into Flashtime, she can actually remember that moment and realize that Killer Frost was actually a little bit worried for Caitlyn. What does that mean? And why does the mysterious girl seem like she is against Caitlyn right now? Because after Caitlyn said, "So I hope you find your person or whoever you're here to meet," the girl was like, "I did," or whatever. And after Caitlyn leaves and Harry leave, she turns all evil all of a sudden. Not evil, but mysterious. Did she want that to happen? Did she spill them? It looked like she spilled the milk now on purpose, just to get in on them or something. I'm curious who this girl is and what is she doing here. The theory is that she's Barry's granddaughter, not daughter. I said daughter earlier, but granddaughter from the future. And that she came back in time to witness her grandparents getting married. It could be daughter. I forgot now. Maybe it's daughter. Yeah. It's Barry and Iris's daughter. That's the theory going around. And that she came back in time to witness the marriage of her parents, which I think is really nice looking at that way. But now I'm curious to see, what does she know that Killer Frost is going to do? Is this setting up something for Killer Frost later? Because Killer Frost and Caitlyn have been taking a little bit of a backseat for a while in the last couple of episodes. So I do wonder if they're getting ready for a big betrayal down the line. Or is DeVoe going to use her for something? There's a lot of interesting questions now that we have to ask ourselves. What is going on with Caitlyn, and why does this mysterious girl not seem to trust her? So a lot of things to look forward to. Overall, I'm going to say that this was a really good episode. Much better than I want to say the last two episodes, but I might have enjoyed one before. I don't remember now. So I'll say this was a really good episode. Compared to last week's, which I was kind of disappointed by. And no Ralph was in this episode. What was up with that? I was hoping to see what Barry and Ralph's new partnership would have been like, but we didn't get to see that. Good. I like Ralph, okay? He has his moments, but sometimes he's a little bit too much. So I guess with that being said, guys, leave your comments below. Tell me what you thought of the episode. It's not always my opinion that matters. It's all fans' opinion that matters on the show. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and until next time, take care.